Will Trump's 25% tariff pop the Canadian housing bubble? Because this could change everything for the Canadian economy. So in today's video, let's dive into what this could mean for the GTA real estate market, as well as the real estate market in Canada as a whole. Now, before we dive deeper, let's just quickly discuss what a tariff is. So when Trump or any other government announces a tariff, it's like putting taxes or fees on product being imported from other countries into the US, and in this case, Canada. So even though Trump is the one imposing a 25% tariff on Canada, it doesn't actually mean the Canadian seller or the Canadian government has to pay for it. It's actually the American company that buys these products from Canada that has to pay the 25% tariff. So what this means is that American companies now have to pay extra 25% to buy Canadian products or anything that gets imported from Canada, and that typically discourages American companies to buy Canadian goods. So this means now the Canadian companies will not be able to sell as much or as many goods to the US as they once did. This brings me to hypothetical problem number one. Unemployment rates will go up. You see, if Trump goes through with a 25% tariff, certain industries will be hit with job losses. This is because the Canadian companies will now no longer be able to sell or export their goods to the US, and so they will have to cut back on production. So industries tied to exports, transportation, or manufacturing will be hit with job losses and reducing demand for real estate in the immediate areas. Problem number two. Cost of building materials could go up. You see, Canada is US's biggest trading partner, so we export things like steel, aluminum, and lumber. And if a 25% tariffs actually takes in effect, that means these industries will be hit hard. So that means the Canadian companies now will have to raise their prices in Canada to offset the loss of revenue from the US. And if the prices of building materials like lumber, steel, and aluminum go up, then cost of construction also goes up, and developers will pass these costs along to the new buyers. This will increase prices for pre-construction homes or new development homes, condos. But on the flip side, building materials prices could also come down in Canada. How? Because Canada will no longer be able to sell these goods to the US, meaning that there will be more supply left in Canada, and more supply means lower prices. Which brings me to problem number three, reduced housing supply. If building materials go up in price, that means there will be very few new development. You see, developers are already having a hard time selling their projects and new construction due to low demand. They simply cannot afford to sell these projects for higher prices because no one will buy, especially the ones with razor thin profit margins. It's just not going to happen. Now, you're not going to see the impact of this right away, especially not this year. But in 4 to 5 years, you will see, if this continues, you will see a massive shortage in new homes. Number four, lower interest rates. You see, Bank of Canada will most likely cut interest rates to stimulate the economy. This means you'll have lower mortgage rates, you have lower mortgage payments, and you could possibly get qualified for a bigger mortgage depending on your job situation. But remember, this will all come at a cost of someone else losing their job due to slower and weaker economy. Which brings me to problem number five, weaker Canadian dollar. You see, tariffs by design weaken the currency of the targeted country, and in this case, Canada. Especially if Canada cuts interest rates, then our dollar will continue to get worse. A weaker Canadian dollar means it will be more expensive to import goods and services from the US or anywhere else, and that could further increase prices for building materials, for food, groceries, and just everyday goods in general. And here comes my boldest prediction. There will be an increase in demand from investors. Now, I might get a lot of hate for saying this, but regardless of which side of the political spectrum you're on, you cannot deny that there will be some chaos, good or bad, in the States and probably in Canada, because the tariffs will not only affect Canadians, but it will also affect the American consumers as well. So if our Canadian economy gets weaker and our dollar gets weaker, we might become more attractive to foreign investors, especially from the US. Now, I know that there's a foreign ban right now, but now let's say our economy gets so bad, right? Who's to say that we cannot lift these bans if that actually helps our economy in some shape or form. Look, these are all hypotheticals, okay? For all we know, none of this could happen and we could experience something completely different. But regardless of what happens, I'm here to give you the most up-to-date information about the Greater Toronto Area's real estate market. So if you're watching this and you want to have a private conversation about this real estate market and what this means for you, for your home, for your investment property, give me a shout. You can book a meeting with me through a link in my bio, and we'll speak soon. That said, thanks for watching and have a great day.